if you want to know what's going to be cool or what's going to be working for the average folk in like 2 years, look at what porn stars are doing now. So here's one for you. AK Ginger Snaps. You can find her on Instagram at AK Ginger Snaps. She has her stuff on Pornhub. She's also got OnlyFans. She's on Twitch, I believe. Like, you have more ways now of making revenue than ever before. You can stream yourself playing video games. I don't know what she talks about when she's streaming. I have zero interest in I'm sure she's answering all kinds of cool questions about how she likes her eggs. Fried or fertilized. Fried or fertilized. Fried or fertilized. How you like your eggs? Fried or fertilized. Turquoise Jeep Records.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably just got demonetized. Copyright infringement.
I don't know if you've seen that shirt right there. That
Probably
picture of the Unabomber smile. Everything I own is stolen. One of my favorite cannabis cultivators is the Warner Brothers. All right. If it's taking like, and that's a very like hip hop thing, like the concept of sampling, taking something from someone else and then making it your own. You have folks that have turned that into an art, and why not celebrate the shit out of that art? I'm not taking anything away from the police sketch of the Unabomber. I'm in fact adding it. But interesting thing, can I tell you about the shirts real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're going to anyway. So
yeah. So I made those shirts with that Russian app that stole your data.
Yeah.
Because the Unabomber told us that sort of thing was going to happen, and I used the tech colors from the Seattle Seahawks, who come from a tech city.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
I think
stole some shit and made it art, man.
Yeah, no, I think that is kind of let me keep kicking that. I think there is something to, inevitably there's going to be the knockoff trend where getting the knockoffs is way cooler than getting the actual product. It's going to be like it's going to be, there's the one rich guy wearing Gucci or Armani, and he's kind of the nerd and no one likes him, but all the cool kids are wearing the knockoff Gucci and Armani.
So there's a street brand, Crooks and Castles, and one of the things that they are known for is like stealing a logo, and one of the things, stealing a logo, stealing a colorway, and just making it their own. Like they took, Versace's Medusa and crossed it up with like Gucci for Gucci's Gucci links, and then Gucci colorways, and just stole everything, and because they're Crooks and Castles, and then made it their own. You have that all the time in like street art, street lines, but Obey kind of did that as well with the image of Andre the Giant, and so there's a precedent for it, right? And as long as there's
the original viral marketing, as far as I can, random thought, but they're for tech. But. They're
short run tags, right? Yeah. If I print up 20 of those T-shirts, right, and and most of them I'm giving away, then like it's a cool shirt with a cool story.
That rips that off, it's gonna make some money,
and that's fine. I stole it the first. I stole it first.
No, I was gonna say it's the
I'll take that's not a bad thing. I know, I stole it first. You're a thief, but I stole it first. But there's a long history of that in music as well. Particularly in rap music, because the sample is such an important part of the music. But you have guys like the Beatnuts who did a song called "Give Me the Ass," which is, by the way, it's a fun song, all right. But it sampled the same Felicia Rashad, I believe it was Felicia Rashad, song that Will Smith sampled, or the Trackmaster sampled for Will Smith in the Men in Black song. But they came out the same year. One came out a few months earlier, and so the song, like the Beatnuts song, was already resonating. It was in the clubs, people heard it, and then there's this Will Smith one that, you know, has got fucking aliens in the video, about a U.S. Military organization that actually did exist to investigate UFO landings. I mean, not to say that Will Smith is a poster child for disinformation and propaganda. However, if there was a guy, it might be the guy that starred in Men in Black. Just saying. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think rolling back just a bit, I think what I've kind of learned over all of this, and because I still am one of the essential people, one of the people.
You're essential to me.
Yeah, exactly. One of the people out on the front lines still, but no, but I've found like how much media I've consumed, and how much of the world isn't working, and the world that's not working is consuming media. I'm like, at what point is all of this going to balance out to where, you know, all of our jobs are media, and all of our habits and consumptions are media, and who's going to be the actual, like, because we're going to need the proles to actually do the work,
Yeah.
to facilitate our media consumption, and our livelihood producing media.
Everyone is a content provider.
Yeah.
And who are you providing your content to? So one of the things that I've noticed, because I do pay attention to some of the analytics, I pay attention to where people are listening from and stuff.
Yeah.
We're seeing people listening now in Romania and Australia, and the people that I interact with from Australia, well, they're all on fucking social media. They're all selling us something or other. Mm-hmm. They're all selling a certain particular lifestyle or something. But everyone is a content provider, right? And everyone is signaling whatever it is that they're trying to signal, but everyone is doing it. Everyone is using the internet now as their word of mouth, their Instagram page. Now they're talking about a product that they use, just to let everyone know. It's the new word of mouth. We're not actually interacting with people face to face. We're doing it with people from all over the world. If we're lucky, we're doing it with people from all over the world, right? If we suck, we're interacting with the same 10 people every day.
Yeah.
However,
hopefully you're just not interacting with someone who pretends they're someone else.
You know what? I don't know.
But if you only got 10 friends, maybe it's worth it. Maybe, everyone's got that one friend.
But your word of mouth means nothing.
Yeah.
There's no value to your word of mouth. However, if you actually interact with people, mm-hmm. And I think that, that's what you're seeing now is like, or what I'm seeing at least. I don't know how, I wasn't shipping shirts to state. I wasn't shipping shirts out of state before this happened.
Mm-hmm.
So there's demand, not everyone is stuck in the same boat everywhere.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I see what you're saying. We get to kind of pick and choose our own, our own news source now. You can get whatever perspective you want on what this, whatever is going on is. It's not like the old days where, oh, wow, I'm surprised I made that not like the old days comment. Our media was so limited to us before.
We had 4 sources of information.
Yeah.
Like you had the big 3, and then you had whatever the cable news was. Now you've got 15 cable news, and they all have their own slant. We have official state-sponsored media in the United States, and I don't mean like NPR.
Yeah.
We've also got 15 news channels that are mostly people giving opinions rather than actual information, and we treat that like it's actual information. Like Don Lemon, or Chris Cuomo, or Fox News, your Sean Hannity's. They're not actual news guys. They're opinion people. They give you this opinion that is part of the line at their particular source, right? And then we find that all of the news, all the information that we get to pick and choose who we get it from. We have people who are going to write from our side.
Yeah.
If you're reading, for everyone that's reading the Huffington Post and commenting, there's the same thing going on over at Breitbart. It's people just trolling each other back and forth. and that's what their news is.
Well, it's like right now, I don't think there's anyone watching MSNBC that loves Trump that isn't watching MSNBC to laugh at it, parody it, get angry by it, or just want to see what the it's interesting, and I wonder with the like how you said before, we had the four sources. We had real basic access to our information. I wonder if it was more propaganda then, or if because there were so few choices that people maybe held that as a higher responsibility, and
I think it was easier to influence in the dark.
Yeah.
I look at things like, so let's go to the Kennedy assassination, right? And let's talk about Dan Rather. Okay, so Dan Rather became America's newsman based on misreporting the Kennedy assassination after it happened. He watched the Zapruder film. He was one of the very few people to watch the Zapruder film, and he got the facts and movements of the Kennedy's shots and the shots that he took wrong, and he presented that as fact. And then shortly after that, Dan Rather becomes America's news. Like over time, became America's newsman. He became the most trusted man in media, and that doesn't happen just because, right? Like you toe that line really well. You get really good at speaking slowly and with emphasis on whatever it is that you are being paid to say. And that's what it is. People are being paid to say a certain thing, not to necessarily inform. And I don't know that they've ever necessarily been paid to actually inform, because there are always people that have to answer to somebody. Whether it's shareholders or in the case of UFC 249, I believe is the correct number, Habib and Tony Ferguson, which ended up being Tony, and Justin Gaethje, which ended up not happening because allegedly Dianne Feinstein made some phone calls. So eventually everyone has to answer to somebody who's up higher than them.
Well, that's that's always the plight of the news director, in a situation, especially in a time like this, where news is so critical and the accuracy of it is so critical, and I have other sources I can go to get my opinions, but please don't present your opinions as facts. I need, I feel like I need to actually know what's going on, because like I said, right now I can't tell who to believe, but I can understand from because people are people. If you're a news director, I'm gonna get way more awards if I cover this story, because that's what people want to watch, and if I give this perception because that's what people want to hear me say, or I could actually report the news. I got ratings and money over here, social responsibility over here, but also the famous, you'd mentioned the UFC, the famous UFC fighter argument. It's like, well, everyone else is doing it. I'm not the only guy with performance-enhancing drugs. So I think that's
not true. According to the Diaz brothers, everybody was on performance-enhancing drugs. Sorry, I cut you off. I'm a dick.
Yeah, no, it's all right. But yeah, that's what I find is really interesting right now, is the difficulty in just finding out, come on, what's the actual truth here?
We're never going to know if the writers are really writing from our side, but because the fact of the matter is everybody gets influenced from a bunch of different things. You don't start working at CNN unless you want to work at CNN. Unless you've already have that kind of slant. Now, one of the stories, and I wish I had asked you about it off air to see how versed you are. Yeah, so Florida has an online schooling program, and it was recently adopted by the state of Alaska to run an online school for the state of Alaska out of Florida. And there are a lot of questions that were asked about how this came to be. Now, my understanding, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the gentleman who is now running the school used to work with Governor Michael Dunleavy in
I had a feeling the Michael Dunleavy name might come up, but
Yeah. So, and I could be pissing on the floor in the wrong direction here, in which case I'm wrong. But so Dunleavy allegedly worked with this guy. They interacted in the past back when old Mike, was in charge of. He was a school superintendent. Okay. So, I mean, like, we say we want to get politicians out of politics and let's try educators rather than lawyers. Okay, you get that argument. I guess he was a superintendent. I don't know if he was ever a teacher, but he was a superintendent. But these two worked together. And there was a no-bid contract with the state of Florida's online school to the tune of a little over $500,000. Now, ultimately, the decision was made to go with the Florida online school at the recommendation of Governor Jeb Bush. Now, if you do a quick look during Jeb Bush's time as governor, Florida improved greatly in the national rankings as far as their education goes, right? Florida ultimately moved the goalpost for how they measured education, and they moved it quite a bit. So I'll include the show in the show notes where I got this information from, and again, tell me when I'm fucked up. But they moved the goalpost in ways that you couldn't help but get better. The same way that in the United States, we say, well, this is obese. And like, oh shit, we've made a lot of obese people mad. We need to move obese up here. This is the new measurement of obese.
why don't we make a size 9 a size 8? Everyone feel good.
Everyone's a size 5. Everyone has AIDS. Yeah. And we do things to comfort each other rather than do anything to better each other. And we're definitely lacking in bettering ourselves, myself included. But I guess where I'm going back to Florida and the state of education is they moved their own goalposts to look better. Jeb Bush was probably not the guy to go to for education advice. All right, the brother of George.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. The brother of
George, son of George.
Brother of George and son of George. The same one who got roasted by President Trump. I mean, Donald Trump is very possibly the reason we aren't saying President Jeb Bush. President Bush again. Yeah. So if nothing else, like he put a stomp on the nepotism of that one. All right. So should that really be the guy? Like, or are we just going to go with the people that we know? Is that what it is? Because it seems like if you have a good relationship with someone, and it's not like the Dunleavy administration doesn't have a history of helping people who have helped them in the past. Very recently with Bob Penny's grandson getting, was that another $500,000 contract out of state? I don't know. Do you remember the story? No. Okay, so Bob Penny, major contributor to Governor Dunleavy's campaign. His grandson was awarded an out-of-state no-bid contract. I don't even know if these kids asked for it. Like this dude might have been climbing a mountain in Oregon and gotten a phone call like, "Hey, got you a job." hey, Buckaroo, you know that new business you just started? Guess what, buddy? Got you a job. You gonna be doing some work. I don't know why Bob Penny speaks with a southern accent. Oh, because I reached out to him and he never got back to me. So I'm just going to assume he speaks with a southern accent. By the way, Bob Penny is the donator of the Ted Stevens bench at the Ted Stevens Airport.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Uncle Ted.
Uncle Ted. Which, by the way, was the airport named after him before or after he died in a plane crash?
I believe before.
I don't know that I would do it afterwards. I don't think it would inspire a lot of confidence.
It's like, oh, why do they call it that?
So I've got a joke, and I don't know when I'm ever going to be able to do stand-up again. But so this was one of my stand-up jokes. So Ted Stevens International Airport was named after a man who died in a plane crash, and I thought that was weird until I took my kid down to the John F. Kennedy Memorial Shooting Range in Dallas. It's a good joke.
It's not a bad joke.
But the Ted Stevens jokes can keep going because here on the Kenai, we have the Ted Stevens / Challenger Center. So I don't know.
Give
I don't
him
know what they
hockey rink. You're always safe going with a hockey rink.
Or a high school.
Yeah.
Could you maybe name it after something that landed?
There's libraries. The thing I had noticed when the Tiger King climb, I'm rolling back to Tiger King though, was have you read a single Tiger King article that does not mention Netflix or coronavirus? Usually in the same sentence.
Are you saying that Joe Exotic needed the coronavirus to be successful? You think that Joe Exotic couldn't do that on his own? You saying that Joe Exotic needed the support of Jeff Lowe and Carol Baskin and Doc Antle? Joe Exotic was going to be a star on his own. I don't know if you saw the interviews with the dude who used to be on Inside Edition, who set himself on fire for ratings, but he was going to be a big star. Another interesting note,
his YouTube videos have gone through the roof. So
through the fucking roof.
Yes, I mean, what people do to get on YouTube these days.
So before I got off of the Facebook, I joined the Tiger King's meme Facebook page, which by the way was the greatest page on the internet.
It was like an addiction to me. It was like I kept wanting to say I do not want another. I don't want to share another Tiger King meme. I don't want to like another one. Don't want to see another. Don't want to make the little emoji. And like every day I'm there doing it, sharing them.
But I learned a lot, though. I learned a lot from that page because people were joining that page. Turns out, I guess Jeff Lowe was part of that page.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. I want to know which ones he liked. But you had folks like apparently like there was a reality TV show crew that was following Joe around back in like 2013, like going back years and years and years. So like there had been multiple attempts to make Joe Exotic the reality star he became. And
well, they took the long way around to do it.
Well, did he really? So let's go to the Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours rule, right? Mm-hmm. Like if you want to be really good at something, you got to put in your time. You got to put in your hours, right? Yeah. And Joe spent a lot of times around tigers. He spent a lot of time around dudes. He spent a lot of time around some drugs. And he spent a lot of time around reality TV crews. So I think eventually, when he finally gets himself out and he gets his deal with like Fox or Fox News, who knows where he's going to end up. But he's definitely not going to do 22 years. I think that Joe Exotic is going to get out and he's going to make great reality TV. He's going to get a show with one of the Jenners, or one of the Kardashians, one of the two. He's somebody, right? Probably a Kardashian.
On Survivor.
Oh my gosh. No, they're not going to do Survivor, but it'll be... What's the mom? Who's the mom in... who's
Pandemic Edition.
Kris Jenner. So the mom, Kris.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes.
It'll be Kris Jenner and Joe Exotic, and they're going to be they're going to be forced to live together on an island. It won't be Survivor, but it'll be a man, his tiger, and a cougar, and that's that, right? And that's sorry, I need to kick that. A tiger and a cougar.
See, Tiger King and a cougar. No, I think it goes
Tiger
a completely
King, Cougar Queen.
Completely different direction.
All right.
Well, not completely. We're keeping some elements here. What you have is Kris Jenner, Joe Exotic, and some celebrity that doesn't know anything about political issues. as the guest that day. And, they're talking like, you just straight up like morning news entertainment show.
I would, you know what? I would pay $5 a month, and this is where you get into things like Patreon and like click to donate. I would pay $5 a month on Patreon to get that every day. If I don't even like Kris Jenner, and I don't want her to get any pennies from me. I don't want her to get a cent. But I'm totally down to watch her read the news with Joe Exotic and Nick Lachey.
Yeah. See, and I'm thinking, it's because at least you can look at that and you go, okay, I don't have to rely on any of this information. This is just entertainment news. But
and that's all it is.
And that's what. Why not take it? Why are they wasting their time on the Hannitys? Why not take it to the next level? You want to crush MSNBC right now or Fox News? You get the Kris Jenner.
Open up your phone. Open up your phone. We're going to shit on the front page of the ADN right now. All right? We're going to do this right now. You're just going to take the headline and we are going to form opinions around the headlines. That's what we're going to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, I'm going to tell a story about a dog until you got it.
It's loading. It's loading.
All right. So anyway, it's a big dog. It's a friendly dog. It's a kind of dog that would show up in a joke like The Aristocrats. Yeah.
Oh, everyone's lucky that this came through before you started The Aristocrats. Which is the best joke.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I think that like there's someone's gonna do a Pornhub parody of a quarantine The Aristocrats, and I challenge you, AK Ginger Snaps. That's at AK Ginger Snaps. So follow her, and if you like what you see, she's got an OnlyFans and she's on Twitch. Make some donations.
Everyone's got to work.
You know what?
Work from home.
She lives in Alaska. She's an Alaskan. I gotta support her. Plus, she's a cannabis advocate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And an artist.
Yeah.
So I'm on the ADN.
All right. What is it?
I have, as Anchorage classrooms shift to online learning, many families still need computers and Wi-Fi.
Okay. So my wife is a teacher, and that's a very real issue. So I don't want to shit on that one. Can we have another one?
Okay. No. Actually, that one was actually kind of interesting for me. Because,
okay, so give it to me. Lay it on.
Okay, so this is what I've been my personal struggle with this has been lately is the of course I throwing in the single parent card, but how I didn't realize how much I relied on teachers to actually educate my children. Like, just the disciplinary sort of part of it to where it's like, no, you have to sit down in front of this computer. You sit down in front of a computer all day. This is just a different webpage. You have to watch this video from your teacher. You have to do this, and just all of that effort and energy while also trying to hold a full-time job. I think it's very interesting because, you don't really realize how badly you rely on that person to actually just raise your kids.
Yeah. If you have good teachers, right, and you have good parents, it's a really winning combination, right? If everyone is on the same page and doing what they're supposed to do, the learning experience can be a great pleasurable experience for this young person. However, you have, I don't know, man, there are breakdowns along the way, and I know that there are teachers who are printing up paper copies of work for kids that are stuck at home that don't have access to the internet. I know they have to do check-ins with the kid and with the parents. I know that my wife puts in a lot of effort, a lot of extra hours. Before this popped off, my wife spent most of Sunday she would spend in her classroom putting things together, right? So now she's doing that all from home. right? She's doing all of her school prep stuff, and she's trying real hard to be as involved as she was previously.
Well, and it's a whole new thing.
Yeah,
Everyone's
absolutely.
learning as they go.
Yeah, they're learning about Zoom, being in Zoom classrooms. Everyone had to learn on a very short window. I had to get onto Zoom for my math class. I'm going to college here at KPC, and I particularly took a sit down class for math because I'm not good at math. All right, and I needed hands on help.
Yeah.
Halfway through the semester, you chop that off. I'm having to learn new methods to make it work for me, right? And I don't know, it's learning to enjoy the challenge. I think that's a big part of it. The other thing that I've been doing more of is video stuff. You and I weren't recording shit with a camera before. No. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to sync it up. And then I'm going to chop it up and make it something more presentable, hopefully.
Because now you have time.
Because now I have time and the need to. I need to learn how to do this because we're not going to be locked down. Another thing that I wanted to mention, I've said it before in some of the recent podcasts, a friend of mine is a retired Air Force survival evasion resistance escape instructor. Like, he taught people how to survive POW experiences. And he said to me, this isn't the new normal, right? This can't be the new normal, and you can't think of it as the new normal, right? This is the way it is now because that's the way it has to be. Eventually, this is going to be over, and I'm paraphrasing him a little bit here. And we're going to get back to where we were, but we have to be smarter. We've got to know that that's coming and be prepared to fully embrace that. So when this is done, one of the things that we're planning is a trip out to Port Chatham to search for the Hairy Men, right? And we're going full steam ahead with that. But I want to be able to shoot my own stuff out there and not have to hire a camera crew to be able to do it. But I also don't want that to be the time that I have to learn how to do it. I want to be able to learn and make my mistakes and play around and figure out what works for me doing what. And how to make fucking with sound and doing this and doing that. So it's being able to utilize that time. And so, eventually this is going to be wrapped up, and you've got to prepare yourself for that.
The irony of what you just told, though, is being out there learning to use the equipment on the fly is pretty much exactly what teachers are doing at this moment.